Enrique Hernandez's journey through Major League Baseball is one of the most colorful, spirited, emotionally layered, and culturally meaningful stories the sport has seen in the past decade. He is not simply a ball player, not simply a versatile defender or a postseason spark, but a figure whose personality radiates far beyond the chalk lines of the field. He became, through his humor, his fire, his loyalty, and his love for the game, a symbol of how baseball can be both fiercely competitive and joyfully human. When people talk about Enrique Hernandez, they do so with a mix of admiration and warmth, because he is one of those rare players who feels larger than his statistics. He is someone who deepened connections between fans and the sport itself, someone whose presence made baseball more vibrant, more animated, more alive. And in a time when the sport continues to evolve, complicate, and shift, his authenticity remains a reminder of what makes baseball beautiful. Born in Toa Baja, Puerto Rico, Enrique grew up surrounded by a culture that lives and breathes the game. Puerto Rico does not simply produce baseball players, it cultivates them with passion, community, and a deep collective pride. From his earliest memories, Enrique understood what baseball meant to the island, how it could lift spirits, unite families, and offer young kids a dream worth chasing. He learned the fundamentals not just in structured practices, but in the rhythms of daily life. The crack of a bat echoing through neighborhoods, the chatter of kids playing pickup games, the elders passing down stories of heroes who came before. He inherited not only skill, but an identity tied intimately to baseball. And as he matured, his game reflected the island's spirit, resilient, joyful, fiercely competitive, and unapologetically expressive. When Enrique Hernandez broke into the major leagues, the wider baseball world quickly learned what Puerto Rico already knew. This was no ordinary player. His early years showed glimpses of his potential, but it was with the Los Angeles Dodgers that his personality and talent crystallized into something unforgettable. While some players develop reputations for hitting milestones or dominating box scores, Enrique crafted something different, something almost intangible. He became the heartbeat of a team, the multi-tool piece who could fill any position, spark any moment, and elevate any environment. Coaches trusted him because he never shied away from challenges. Teammates trusted him because his energy made the long season feel lighter. Fans trusted him because he performed when it mattered most. What made Enrique Hernandez particularly special was that he took on the role of a super utility player with pride instead of frustration. Many players see versatility as a limitation, a label suggesting they aren't good enough to claim a single starting spot. But Enrique, in his signature style, flipped that narrative on its head. He embraced the identity fully, treating every position as an opportunity rather than an obligation. He took ground balls, track fly balls, learned pitchers inside and out, and kept himself ready for every possible scenario. By doing so, he became one of the most reliable and valued teammates a manager could hope for. With him on the roster, teams never had to worry about how to fill the unexpected gaps that inevitably arise during a 162-game season. He brought stability through flexibility, and that alone would have cemented him in baseball's memory. But Enrique gave far more. In October, when stadiums thrum with pressure and every breath feels heavier, Enrique Hernandez transformed. The postseason is a test of character as much as talent, and something about that environment awakened the most fearless version of him. Fans still recall that electrifying 2017 NLCS game, one of the great postseason performances in Dodgers history, when Enrique launched 3 home runs and propelled his team onto the sport's grandest stage. It was a performance that lifted spirits, defined his legacy, and showcased what he could do when the lights burned brightest. But beyond that singular historic night, he consistently delivered clutch hits, defensive brilliance, and emotional leadership in October. He did it not with arrogance, but with gratitude, always acknowledging the fans, the moment, and the responsibility of being part of something bigger than himself. Yet baseball, for all its exhilaration, is also demanding in ways outsiders rarely see. Enrique faced slumps, trades, roster uncertainties, personal battles, and the endless grind of the season. Among the most difficult chapters of his life was supporting his wife, Mariana, through her battle with cancer, a challenge that stripped away the protective layers athletes often wear. He was open about their struggle, not as a bid for sympathy, but as a display of courage and vulnerability. He turned his platform into a means of raising awareness and offering comfort to others fighting similar battles. For many fans, that period made him more than a player. It made him a symbol of resilience and love. Watching him juggle baseball with the emotional strain of caring for his wife was a lesson in strength, loyalty, and humanity. And even as he navigated that pain, he continued to show up with his trademark energy, proving that courage does not require silence or perfection. It requires honesty and perseverance. As his career progressed, Enrique continued to reinvent himself, evolving from the energetic spark plug to a respected veteran presence. He mentored younger players, passed on his knowledge of the game, and never lost the sense of fun that defined him. When he returned to the Dodgers for his second stint, the cheers that greeted him at Dodger Stadium were not merely for a player coming home. They were for a personality, a friend, a piece of the team's identity coming back where he belonged. His presence in the clubhouse, the dugout, and the field restored a familiarity fans had missed. He reminded everyone that baseball thrives on emotion, on personalities that make the sport feel alive. His humor in interviews, playful antics with teammates, and willingness to be himself allowed fans to connect with him in ways few players manage. In an age of media polish and rehearsed answers, Enrique was refreshing, a real human being behind the uniform. One of the reasons Enrique Hernandez resonates so deeply with fans is his transparency. He has been open about his joys, his fears, his struggles, and his triumphs. He shares parts of himself that make people feel like they know him personally. His social media presence, interviews, and community interactions reflect warmth and generosity. He remembers the importance of representing Puerto Rico, often speaking about what it means to carry the island on his shoulders. And when he wears that Puerto Rican uniform on the international stage, he becomes something even greater, a source of unity and pride for an entire nation. His performances in the World Baseball Classic, his celebrations, and his emotional connection to the flag have made him a hero to countless young athletes who see themselves in him. But beyond the performance aspect of Enrique's career, his legacy is built on something subtler and far more enduring: the way he made people feel. Baseball can be overwhelming, with its constant stream of statistics, contracts, trades, and controversies. But Enrique Hernandez reminded fans that baseball is, at its core, a joyful game. He brought laughter into moments of tension. He brought dance into dugouts. He brought silliness into seriousness. And he did it without ever compromising the respect he had for the sport. That combination, playfulness and professionalism, is rare, but Enrique embodied it effortlessly. As we reflect on Enrique Hernandez's place in baseball history, it becomes clear that his story is not defined by MVP awards or record-breaking seasons. It is defined by intangibles, by the energy he supplied, the moments he delivered, the example he set. He is the kind of player whose highlights do not tell the whole story, because the true impact of his career lies in the spaces between the statistics, the leadership, the humor, the resilience, the heart. His legacy is also expressed in the players he influenced, the fans he inspired, and the communities he uplifted. Even now, as his career continues forward, Enrique Hernandez remains a figure whose contributions cannot be replaced. He has become woven into the cultural fabric of baseball, not just as a player, but as a symbol of authenticity, perseverance, and joy. He is living proof that impact is not measured solely by numbers, but by presence. The game feels different because of him: lighter, more expressive, more connected. And it will continue to feel different because of the mark he has left on fans and teammates across the league. Enrique Hernandez's story is still being written, but what he has already given the game is unforgettable. He showed us that baseball is not merely won on scoreboards. It is lived through emotion, character, and the connections forged between players and fans. He showed us that versatility is a strength, that humor is a gift, that resilience is a form of quiet heroism, and that authenticity creates legacies that endure long after the uniforms are folded away. And so we honor him, not for being perfect, but for being genuine, not for fitting a mold, but for breaking it, and not for being just a baseball player, but for being Enrique Hernandez, a beloved figure, a cultural icon, a competitor, a teammate, and a reminder of everything that makes baseball worth loving.